Welcome to EPG Pathshala on the subject Social Medicine and Community Health. I am Professor C.P. Mishra, working in the Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. This morning I shall be discussing the module Framework for Malaria Elimination, Global and National, and this framework refers to year 2016 to 2030. This is developed by a team comprising of myself as principal investigator. The paper on national health policies and programs is being coordinated by Dr. Devendra Kumar Taneja from Department of Community Medicine, Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. The content is written by myself, and this content has been reviewed by Dr. J. Tandon, ex-professor head, Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. The learning objectives that has been set for this module is number one should be able to state goals and targets for the Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016 to 2030. One should be able to enumerate principles of global malaria elimination. One should be able to state strategic framework of global malaria elimination. One should be able to state vision, goals, and objectives of National Malaria Elimination Program. Categorize states, unions, territories based on annual parasite incidence. We should be able to state malaria epidemiological situation in elimination planning for elimination planning categories, enumerate strategic approaches for malaria elimination in India, and list national targets for malaria elimination, and state specific objectives and key intervention in intensified control phase of malaria elimination. List activities for prevention of re-establishment phase, enumerate cross-cutting interventions for malaria elimination, list key impact and outcome indicators to measure malaria elimination, enumerate expected benefits of investing in malaria elimination in India. So a number of learning objectives has been set for this module. As we all know that malaria is a disease caused by malaria parasites, and there are 4 parasites: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malari, and Plasmodium ovale. In India, Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax are the main causative agents, and the disease is transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito. This disease exerts an enormous economic and social burden on the affected population groups, individuals and communities. In light of malaria being an entirely preventable condition, efforts need to be intensified for prevention, control, and elimination of this disease. WHO has recently developed the Global Technical Strategy for Malaria Elimination 2016-2030, which advocates global acceleration of malaria elimination efforts by 2030. The main goal is to eliminate malaria, that means zero indigenous cases throughout the year, entire country by 2030, to maintain malaria-free status and prevent reintroduction. The objective of the framework is to eliminate malaria from 15 low endemic states, union territories by 2020, from moderate endemic states by 2022, ultimately eliminate malaria from the country by 2027, and sustain zero transmission till 2030 for proceeding for WHO certification. So the landmarks have been set for low endemic states, for moderate endemic states, and ultimately we wish to eliminate malaria from the country by 2027, and the rest 3 years for zero transmission fees for certification by WHO. Goals and targets for Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016-2030 is as follows. The vision is very clear cut, a world free of malaria. And the goals are to reduce malaria mortality rates globally compared with 2015 by the at least 40% by 2020, at least 75% by 2025, and at least 90% by 2030. The second goal is to reduce malaria case incidence globally compared with 2015, at least 40% by 2020, at least 75% by 2025, and at least 90% by 2030. The third goal is to eliminate malaria from country in which malaria was transmitted. At least 10 countries, at least 20 countries, at least 30 countries by the year 2020, 2025, 2030 respectively. The fourth goal is prevent re-establishment of malaria in all countries that are malaria free. By 2020 re-establishment prevented, by 2025 re-establishment prevented, and by 2030 re-establishment prevented. So these are the four major goals that has been set for the global strategy with the basic purpose of having a world free of malaria. The principles involved are all countries can accelerate efforts towards elimination through combination of interventions tailored to the local context. So every country has to accelerate their efforts, and the interventions must be tailored according to the need of that particular specific country. Country ownership and leadership with involvement and participation of communities are essential to accelerating progress through multi-sectoral approach. Improved surveillance, monitoring and evaluation as well as stratification of malaria burden are required to optimize the implementation of malaria interventions. Equity access to health services, especially for the most vulnerable and hard to reach populations, is essential. Innovations in tools and implementation approaches will enable countries to maximize their progression along the path of elimination. Global strategic framework comprising three major pillars with two supporting elements, innovation and research, and second, strong enabling environment. Maximize today's life-saving tools. That's number one. Pillar one, ensure universal access to malaria prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. Pillar two, accelerate efforts towards malaria and attainment of malaria-free status. Pillar three, transform malaria surveillance into a core intervention. These three pillars are will help in maximizing today's life-saving tools. Supporting element number one, harnessing innovations and expanding research. In fact, innovations and research contribute significantly for optimizing programs, operations research, and basic research also. In fact, whatever practices that are what are being done for the people uh, for a particular condition has evolved from theories and innovations and research from in the previous decades. Basic research to foster innovation and development of new and improved tools. Implementation research to optimize effect and cost effectiveness of the existing tools and strategies. Action to facilitate rapid uptake of new tools, interventions, and strategies. Supporting element second is strengthening and enabling environment. This is very important because unless there is an enabling environment, things will not change. We need to have strong political and financial commitments because unless there is a financial commitment, unless there is a political commitment, things will not move. Multi-sectoral approaches and cross-border and regional collaboration is important because sometimes if the disease is affecting neighboring countries as well, the border districts, the border areas become problematic. And therefore, multi-sectoral approaches and cross-border and regional collaboration is very, very vital. Stewardship of entire health system, including private sector with strong regulatory support. Stewardship is needed to optimize dividends from the entire health system, and we can't think of the completeness of the health system without involving the private sector. But once the private sector is involved, there should be strong regulatory support. Capacity development for both effective program management and research. Now, having discussed the global framework, would like to have a overview of what has happened in India, and we'll be discussing the milestones in malaria control program in India. Prior to 1940, no organized national malaria control program existed in India. In fact, malaria was a very significant problem, and even the Bohr Committee, the famous report that came in 1946, has emphasized on its control. Prior to 1953, estimated malaria cases in India were about 75 million cases per year. Estimated deaths due to malaria were around 8 lakhs up to 1 million. In 1953, that was a landmark year, National Malaria Control Program was launched in India. And based on the success story of the National Malaria Control Program, in 1958, it was converted into National Malaria Eradication Program. Cases were reduced to 0.1 million. Phenomenal success, 75 million to 0.1 million in 1965. But unfortunately, in early 1970s, resurgence of malaria was there, and in 1971, it was seen that most of the urban areas were also reporting malaria cases, and therefore urban malaria scheme was launched. It was the year 1976 when malaria cases were 6.46 million, highest in the post-DDT era. And then it was realized that malaria eradication is not possible right now. Many committees were made and modified plan of operation was implemented in the 1977. Things moved in a better way. In 1999, malaria program was named as National Anti-Malaria Program. In the year 2002, when National Health Policy was also there, integration of malaria control program into National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program was recommended by National Health Policy, and 2005, this is the RDT monovalent introduced in the program. 2005, Global Fund Assisted Intensified Malaria Control Project was brought in. 2006 was the era when ACT introduced in the areas showing chloroquine resistance in falciparum malaria. And this became a tool, this became an important input for preventing deaths due to falciparum malaria. 2008 was the year when revised National Vector-Borne Control Program drug policy, ACT introduced in high Plasmodium falciparum predominant districts. In 2008, World Bank assisted National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program project came into picture. 2009, long-lasting insecticide emitted bed nets introduced, oral artemisinin monotherapy banned in the country, and 2010 revised National Vector-Borne Drug Policy 2010 extending ACT for all Plasmodium falciparum cases. Global Fund Round 9 Assisted Intensified Malaria Control Program was, phase 2 was there. In 2013, RDT bivalent introduced, that is for Vivex as well as for falciparum, was introduced in the program. National Drug Policy for malaria cases introduced. ACTEL in North Western regions was initiated. in 2014-15, newer insecticides and larvicides were introduced. So malaria control program has had big history, and from 75 million cases per year, we have come to a figure of around 1 to 2 million. But there are so many paradigm shifts like desert malaria, forest malaria, border malaria, that malaria control program seems to be, our elimination programs seems to be far off, unless whatever newer strategies have been taken is implemented properly. The vision and goals that has been set for the program, the vision is eliminate malaria nationally and contribute to improved health, quality of life, and elevation of poverty. Once malaria is controlled, there will be improvement of health, there will be improvement in the quality of life. And malaria is problem is also leading many people into poverty. So elevation of poverty will be also assured. The goals are in line with the World Health Organization Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016-2030, popularly known as GTS, and the Asia Pacific Leaders Malaria Alliance Malaria Elimination Roadmap for Asia Pacific, the goals of the National Framework for Malaria in India 2016 and 2030 are: number one, eliminate malaria. That is, by the term eliminate malaria, we mean zero indigenous cases throughout the entire country by the year 2030. Maintain malaria-free status in areas where malaria transmission has been interrupted and prevent reintroduction of malaria. Objectives are: the framework has four objectives: eliminate malaria from all 26 low category 1 and moderate category 2 transmission states, union territories by 2022. Reduce the incidence of malaria to less than one case per 1,000 population per year in all states and union territories and their districts by 2024. Interrupt indigenous transmission of malaria throughout the entire country, including all high transmission states and union territories which belong to category 3 by the year 2027. Prevent the re-establishment of local transmission of malaria in areas where it has been eliminated and maintain national malaria-free status by 2030 and beyond. This period may be utilized for certification as well. Classification of states, union territories based on API has been taken as a primary criteria, and classific categories of states and union territories, and category 1, category 0, prevention of re-establishment phase, states, union territories, 0 indigenous cases of malaria. Category 1 elimination phase, state, union territories, there are 15 including their districts reporting an API of less than 1 case per 1,000 population at risk. Category 2 pre-elimination phase, states, union territories 11, there are 11 with an API of less than 1 case per 1,000 population at risk, but some of their districts are reporting an API more than 1,000 or above. Then category 3 intensified control phase, states, union territories, there are 10 number with an API of 1 case per 1,000 population at risk or above. Major epidemiological situation for malaria planning by the category are: category, that's base year we are taking 2014, and category 1 states, union territories with annual parasite incidence less than, and all districts in the state with API less than 1. There are 15 districts. These are Chandigarh, Daman and Diu, Delhi, Goa, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Lakshadweep, Manipur, Puducherry, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim and Uttarakhand. Category 2 are those states and union territories which have API less than 1 and one or more districts are reporting API more than 1. Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Nagaland, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal belong to this. Category 3, states and territories with API less than 1. That is Andaman, Nicobar Island, Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Dadra, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Odisha, and Tripura. Strategic approaches. Number one is program phasing. District as the unit of planning and implementation. That's the second approach. And focus on high transmission areas and a special strategy for Plasmodium vivax elimination. National targets have been set. The following time frame with milestones and targets is proposed for implementation of National Framework for Malaria Elimination in India 2016-2030. By the end of 2016, all states, union territories have included malaria elimination in their broader health policies and planning frameworks. So each and every state in India has shown their commitment by incorporating malaria elimination strategy in their broader health policies and programs. By 2020, transmission of malaria interrupted and zero indigenous cases of deaths due to malaria attained in all 15 states, union territories belonging to Category 1 elimination phase in 2014 base year. All 11 states in Union Category 2 pre-elimination phase in 2014 entered into Category 1 elimination phase, and 5 states, Union Territories under Category 3 intensified control phase in 2020 entered into Category 2 pre-elimination phase. So there should be shifting of the phases of the states according from Category 3 to Category 2 to Category 1 to like that. 5 states under Category 3 reduce malaria transmission but continue to remain in the Category 3. An estimated reduction in malaria of 15 to 20% at the annual level compared with 2014. Additionally, progressive states with strong health systems such as Gujarat, Maharashtra and Karnataka may implement accelerated malaria elimination programs to achieve interruption of transmission and demonstrate early elimination followed by sustenance of zero indigenous case. So those who are high performing states, they can go for accelerated malaria elimination programs. By 2022, transmission of malaria interrupted and zero indigenous cases and deaths due to malaria attained in all 26 state union territories, which are categorized as 1 and 2 in 2014. 5 states and union territories which were categorized under Category 3 intensified control phase in 2014 entered into elimination phase, and 5 states and territories which were under Category 3 intensified control phase in 2014 entered into pre-elimination phase. An estimated reduction in malaria of 30 to 35% at the national level compared to the figure of 2014. By 2024, all states, union territories and their respective districts reduce API of less than 1 case per 1,000 population at risk and sustain zero deaths due to malaria while maintaining fully functional malaria surveillance to track, investigate and respond to each case throughout the country. Transmission of malaria interrupted and zero indigenous case and death due to malaria attained in all the 31 states and union territories. 5 states and union territories which were under Category 3 intensified control phase in 2020 entered into elimination phase. By 2027, the indigenous transmission of malaria in India is interrupted, and by 2030, the re-establishment of local transmission prevented in areas where malaria has been eliminated, and this will serve as the basis for certification of elimination. The malaria-free status maintained throughout the nation. India initiated the process of WHO certification of malaria elimination. Then, after discussing this year-wise goals and activities, specific objectives and key interventions in the intensified control phase, massive scaling up of existing disease management and preventive approaches and tools aimed at significant reduction in the prevalence and incidence of malaria as well as associated deaths. Screening of all fever cases suspected for malaria, classification of areas as per local malaria epidemiology, and grading of area as per risk of malaria transmission, followed by implementation of tailored interventions or area specific interventions. Strengthening of intersectoral collaboration. In fact, in any program, intersectoral collaboration plays a very significant role. And for success of any program, the services must reach to each and everyone. The tech, technology which is being adopted or the approaches that are being adopted that must be appropriate, and there must be intersectoral collaboration with involvement of community or community participation. Special interventions for high-risk groups are needed, such as tribal populations and populations residing in conflict-affected or hard-to-reach areas. They need special microplans uh, because their situations are different, their terrain is different, and there may be some local factors or geographical factors which are responsible for persistence of the problem in that particular area. One stop centers on mobile clinics or fixed days in tribal or conflict affected areas to provide malaria diagnosis and treatment, increasing community awareness with the involvement of other agencies and service providers are required. Timely referral and treatment of severe malaria cases to reduce malaria related mortality. Time is essential in public health, and that is true for malaria as well. Strengthening all districts and sub-district hospitals in malaria endemic areas as per India's public health standards with facilities for management of severe malaria cases. Indian public health standards have been first time brought into picture, and they can play a very significant role because they have placed certain guidelines for logistics as well, which is required for management of malaria cases. Establishment of a robust supply chain management system. Continuity of supply is key for success in any program, and that should be taken. Maintenance of an optimum level of surveillance using appropriate diagnostic measures. Surveillance, which refers to monitoring plus action, and its maintenance to an optimum level is desired for optimum dividends. Equipping all health institutions, primary healthcare level and above, especially in high risk areas with microscopy facilities and oddities for emergency use and injectable artemisinin derivatives so that cases can be detected early and there will be no death. Prevention of re-establishment phase. After reaching malaria elimination in a state or union territory or a district within a state or union territory, the specific objectives will be as follows. Number one, detect any reintroduced case of malaria. Notify immediately all detected cases of malaria. Determine the underlying cause of resumed local transmission. Cross-cutting interventions for will be number one is policy framework and planning. Number two, monitoring and evaluation. Number three is a stratification of the areas based on API and other part. Surveillance, quality assurance in provision of diagnostic services, quality management of cases, as well as and other insecticidal measures. Intersectoral collaboration and coordination. Cross-border collaboration, particularly if the malaria is problematic in adjoining areas, then unless two countries together plan out their strategies, probably the control will be difficult. Initiatives for special population groups like tribals, hard to reach areas, and mobile clinics on more intensive IEC and behavioral change communications are required. ICC, that is IEC, that is and BCC, information, education, communication, and behavioral change communication are innovations will tell us the way in which the program need to be modified in the future, and capacity building of each and every staff as well as the system by and not only in terms of logistics, but in terms of supervision, monitoring, and in identifying whether the progress of the program, and researchers, finally research is also needed. Key indicators to measure progress towards malaria elimination. One is to measure impact, number and incidence of confirmed malaria cases classified according to age, sex, parasite species, and other relevant parameters. Number and incidence of severe malaria cases as well as fatality rate, number of malaria cases in pregnancy, number of states union territories which have eliminated malaria and are currently in the phase of prevention of re-establishment of local transmission. For impact measurement, these indicators are vital. Other indicators for impact are number of states union territories which are in elimination phase, number of states union territories which are in pre-elimination phase, number of states and union territories which are in intensified control phase. So, just over a period of time, changing numbers from phase 3 to phase 2 to phase, or intensified control phase to pre-elimination phase to elimination phase will say that we are going in the right direction. Outcome measurements can be proportion of population at risk who slept under an insecticide treated net or longevity uh, insecticide nets in the previous night, proportion of population at risk protected by indoor residual spraying within the past 12 months, proportion of patients with confirmed malaria who received anti-malarial treatment as per national policy, proportion of cases investigated and classified in areas eligible for elimination, proportion of foci investigated and classified in areas eligible for elimination, proportion of expected monthly reports received from health facilities at the national and sub-national level, consistency, completeness, and coverage. These are vital events in management information system, and that must be taken into account. Expected benefits of investing in malaria elimination in India. Malaria elimination is desired, and the expected benefits are in 2012. It was estimated that the total economic burden of malaria in India was around US dollars 1,940 million, with 75% from last earnings and 25% of treatment cost borne by the households. Estimates for India during the late 90s show that for every rupee invested in malaria control, a direct return of rupees 19.7 could be expected. So 1 is to 19.7. That's the gain in terms of economic gains. Implementing the malaria elimination framework 2016 to 2030 would bring benefits at least to 20 times greater than the total investments made or the total estimated cost of implementing this framework. Besides saving lives, eliminating malaria in India would also avert their socioeconomic losses. So, just to summarize that malaria has a very long history. In pre-independence era also malaria has been a very significant problem. Since 1953 when we started the National Malaria Control Program and we reverted to elimination to eradication in 1958, but there were a resurgence of malaria and many strategic modifications were taken from time to time. And finally, in consonance with the policy of the global policy for India has also shown its dedication and commitment for elimination of malaria, and a framework has been evolved from the year 2016 and to 2030. Goals and targets have been intermediary goals have been set, and also enough strategies have been worked out so that we can be able to monitor our progress in future, and everything is set for elimination of malaria program. What is needed is that the political commitment, the financial commitment, and the capacity building of the staff should be sustained. There should be no complacency because complacency has no place in any program or in individual's life. And once that is done, the program will likely to achieve the desired goals. Thank you very much for visiting EPG Pathshala.